We've got scantily clad women, an alien monster, lots of smoking, seductive dancing, and some reverse sexual harassment. It's Fire Maidens from Outer Space, but is it watchable? Thank you, clapping. I'm definitely going to run out of ways to refer to, and welcome everybody to Is It Watchable? I'm your host, Paul. If you like your women smoking hot and your men smoking a lot, then pull up a chair, because this is Fire Maidens from Outer Space. Long before we were disappointed to find we were alone in our solar system, we, and by we I mean men, dreamt of babes from other planets. They were always hot, usually white, and conveniently reproduced the same way we do, and Captain Kirk tried to sleep with them all. Even today, Hollywood continues to convince nerds everywhere that there are way hotter women out there that would feel lucky to put up with our farting and video game playing. An early example of this is 1956's Fire Maidens from Outer Space, an army of young, beautiful women in micro mini dresses desperate to marry any middle-aged man to come along. Now we're talking, right? Wrong. Our hero, Dr. Luther Blair, a nuclear scientist, takes off from New Mexico and heads for New York City, but not really because he actually lands in London, England. Guess he just wanted to use that aerial stock footage of New York. He's in London to head up Plan 13, a joint effort between the US and Great Britain to send a manned spacecraft to Jupiter's 13th moon.
Colors are similar.
Not sure if they left the window open during this scene or what. I'm sorry to put you through that, but that should give you a pretty good idea of what kind of movie this is.
Oh, I'll be sure to code that message.
Yes, sir.
As they prepare for takeoff, we get proof that clumsy product placement isn't just a recent phenomenon. In this case, it's Longines watches and clocks.
All of you have your Longines space watch.
Finally, we get liftoff, and our heroes leave the comfort of Earth's orbit in a stock footage rocket. And they're not gone long before they're greeted by a rogue asteroid field. After all that excitement, the filmmakers decide to illustrate just how boring space travel can be by subjecting us to the exact same boredom. It'd be funny if it weren't so painful. Finally and mercifully, we arrive at the 13th moon of Jupiter, where the crew is welcomed via the school's PA system.
Calling spaceship. Calling spaceship.
After the astronauts touch down, they celebrate one of mankind's greatest accomplishments as if they just had sex. Then, to make sure we're clear on the plot details, we get this informative exchange.
From the expression on your face, Professor, I'd say you've found that the atmosphere on the 13th moon of Jupiter is similar to that of the one on Earth.
The guys drop their space ladder and go exploring the countryside. They hear someone screaming and decide to investigate because
This could be very important.
when they arrive, they're shocked to find a woman being attacked by a creature of some kind. Of course, the woman is a smoking hot blonde and motions for the googly-eyed men to follow her. She leads them to an opening in a stone wall where Dr. Blair and Captain Larson go in while the others stay behind. Inside they meet Process, the ruler of New Atlantis, who quickly gives his daughter Hestia to Dr. Blair as a kind of door prize.
This is Captain Larson. I'm Luther Blair.
Hestia's life belongs to you from now on, Luther Blair.
It
is a law of Atlantis.
Next, we meet his other beautiful young daughters and learn that Process would like nothing more than to repopulate New Atlantis, because that's both convenient and hot. The daughters are nice enough to perform a floor show while Process gets the astronauts drunk. As Dr. Blair is passing out, Hestia straight up forces herself on him. I'm going out on a limb here, but I get the feeling there were no women involved in the writing process. The next day, Dr. Blair awakens to Hestia hovering over him and probably checking to see if his boxers are on backwards. Hestia explains that her people relocated to Jupiter's moon after the city of Atlantis was flooded. Meanwhile, in another room, Captain Larson awakens to a bunch of beautiful young women. Man, I am really suspecting the 15-year-old boy wrote this. Out on the ship, the other astronauts decide to go out in search of their missing crewmates. But when they reach the wall, the opening has mysteriously disappeared. Suddenly, the monster from the previous day emerges from the bushes.
Okay, let him have it.
Alright, I'm not trying to get all liberal on everyone, but these guys seem a little trigger happy. That monster wasn't exactly attacking them and honestly sounded like he was in a great deal of pain. The monster even gives them a non-threatening wave. I mean, maybe he's just a guy that fell into a tar pit or was badly burned or something. Maybe the day before, instead of attacking Hestia, he was pleading with her to help him. Just putting it out there.
You discuss the animal. Me, I'll dream of the girl. Hey, what if she's the only one?
In that case, you're last in line.
Wait, what? Back in New Atlantis, Dr. Blair is meeting with Process when Hestia secretly switches their drinks. Apparently, Process was trying to get Blair drunk again, but now he's the one passed out. This allows Blair and Hestia to sneak off for a secret conversation. She informs them that Process intends to keep them there forever, but Blair vows to escape. Unbeknownst to them, the eldest sister is listening in the whole time. Outside, the other astronauts climb a tree and peer over the wall. After seeing a gaggle of hot women on the other side, they resolve to get in. But they find the wall is electrified, so they can't simply climb over.
Well, if not over the wall and not around the wall, why not under the wall?
Back inside, Hestia is attacked by her sisters, tied up, and placed on an altar. The eldest sister does a lengthy ceremonial dance before filling us in on what's going on.
The Code of Atlantis says the eldest daughter must be married first. And I, Duetta, am the eldest. At the first ray of light, you must die.
The other astronauts are captured and brought in to witness the sacrifice. Meanwhile, Dr. Blair stumbles across the most ridiculous security device ever when he finds that scooting a chair backwards opens up a secret exit.
Push it. The exit is there. Hurry.
Really? I mean, what if these guys would have just sat down hard? The two make their way back to the Great Room and locate their confiscated guns. Back at the altar, the sacrificial ceremony rages on with lots, and I mean lots, of dancing. Finally, the effects of the alcohol wear off and Process wakes up, only to stumble out into the garden and be attacked by the monster who came in using the same hole the astronauts dug. After killing Process, the monster makes his way inside and interrupts the ceremony. The women scream in horror. One of them is so scared nothing comes out when she screams. The monster kills the oldest sister by throwing her before Dr. Blair and Captain Larson come to the rescue. With Process and the evil sister dead, the women name Hestia their new ruler. Then the men promise to sate their biological clocks by sending back potential husbands, and everyone lives happily ever after. Oh yeah, they'll make great wives. Never mind that they were totally down to murder their sister. Maidens from Outer Space is a British film, but was written, directed, and produced by American filmmaker Cy Roth, so just barely British. Of course, this movie is considered one of the worst films ever made and appears on way too many lists to mention. If you don't find it on any particular list, it's probably because it's largely been forgotten. In fact, it's a challenge to find any information about this movie at all. Even popular crowdsourced content on sites like IMDb and Wikipedia have next to nothing. Most people simply haven't heard of it, and for the few that have, it's probably because of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And it makes sense that this movie's nearly faded into oblivion. Other than being a bad film, it doesn't have a big-time director, none of the actors are household names, and the plot is about as unoriginal as you can get, even for the time. But enough about why I can't put together a decent episode. Maidens from Outer Space. Is it watchable? Okay, I am generously giving this movie one eyeball, and that's only because it delivers on exactly one promise: attractive women. These movies were essentially exploitation films made to show women prancing around in skimpy outfits, and so, yeah, mission accomplished, I guess. Other than that, there's nothing to see. The miracle of space travel? Monotonous. The advanced technology of the spacecraft looks like the break room at a power plant with office chairs. The horrifying bulletproof monster? He has like 2 minutes of screen time, and what little impact he has on the plot feels totally contrived. Even Jupiter's 13th moon is just a dull English countryside. But Paul, you say, isn't that just par for the course in bad B movies? Totally, but in order to enjoy those things as wacky spectacles, you have to have some fun along the way. And that's where this movie fails the hardest. It's boring, guys. So boring. Long scenes of people driving, smoking, walking, doing math, shaving, waiting, dancing, and dancing, and dancing. So, yeah, it's got beautiful women. Well, that's it for this episode, but join me next time when I check out the sequel to one of the best horror movies ever made, The Exorcist 2. And be sure to subscribe.